Hello there, welcome to another Sharalee Uncut. I'm so happy that you're enjoying these videos because I'm enjoying creating them. They're a lot less stressful for me to plan. Obviously, I have to pull out everything I'm going to use. But as I was thinking through what I wanted to incorporate today, I thought I would start off with a lip mask on my lips. But don't get too excited. This is the Mary Kay Satin Lips, the original formula. They don't make this anymore, so unless you can find it on Amazon or eBay, the new formulation, they do have a satin lips, but it's totally different. It's like a sugar and shea butter type of formula. I've tried it, don't like it. That is more common, I think, or similar to what's on the market today. This is totally different, unique. I have a backup tube of this. It does last a long time, but you put it on your lips, leave it for about 30 seconds to a minute. So while it's on there, I'll tell you some alternatives, and we will also prime our eyelids. So I'm using the Smashbox Intensify eyeshadow primer. I'm gonna do a 2-layer primer today. So I'm going to do this and then use the MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot on top of it. Instead of doing concealer and eyeshadow primer, this is another way that you can get some concealing and priming all in one. So I do the primer, and before it completely dries, I go in with my MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot and just blend a thin layer over it. Now it's not quite as much coverage as using concealer, but this is, I think, the best of both worlds. Really good stay power for your eyeshadow, but also a little bit of concealing as well. So if you have really oily eyelids and concealer plus eyeshadow primer plus setting powder is just too much, or that's not working for you, try a combination of just a regular eyeshadow primer and the MAC Paint Pot. If you don't have a lot of issues with your eyeshadow smudging through the day, if you don't have super oily lids, then you can just go in with the MAC Paint Pot. That's what my best friend does, and that is enough hold power, and then it has the concealing that she wants. So again, just a thin layer. Just make sure you don't put on too much of the paint pot, and just smooth that over. And it's, I think, a little quicker than when I do the concealer, because you have to wait for the concealer to dry and all that. So anyway, just like to give you lots of different options in these videos. So I think I have done 3 different methods in the last 3 uncut videos. So if this doesn't work for you, try one of the other 2. Now, going back to the lips, I told you I would give you some alternatives. A great one is just use olive oil, coconut oil, or almond oil, whatever kind of oil you already own, and mix a little sugar in there, apply that to your lips, and then remove it with a damp washcloth like I'm going to do with this one. You can also just use a damp washcloth. And do you see how much color is hiding behind the dead skin of my lips? Every time I use this satin lips mask, I am always amazed. And you know, it doesn't hurt to just bring a little bit of some stimulation to your lips. But then it's really important to go in with a really good hydrating type of product. Now, I'm gonna put on, as my lip prep today, a new shade of the Tarte Maracuja Lip Plumper. This is Peach Shimmer, I believe it is. Yes. When my best friend and I were shopping, you probably saw me pick this up. And this one is a pretty light shade. It does have the shimmer, but I like how hydrating these are, and it provides some plumping. And ooh, yes, after freshly exfoliating my lips, definitely feel that plumping effect. Okay, now I'm excited for this video because I feel like each one of these videos I'm trying to give you some new tips and tricks. And so I thought one thing that might be helpful to do in an uncut version is to show you how I figure out a new eyeshadow palette and use it for the first time. How do I know what colors are going to look good together? It's not always 100% success rate, but I'm going to show you how I do it, and hopefully this process will help you. So last fall, I believe Ulta had the Nabla eyeshadow palettes in their 21 Days of Beauty sale, and I picked up this one and it was 50% off, and I've never used it. I think I put it away for fall or the end of summer. Whenever I got it, I thought, you know what, I'll pull that out later on. And I ran across it recently and I thought, oh my word, I haven't even swatched it. So this eyeshadow palette, I can't even read. Oh, there it is, Side by Side Nude Palette. And this was one that I had seen people use and I thought, okay, this could be a great everyday palette. Now, what I typically do, just opening up a palette, I'm obviously looking for a brow bone highlight shade. So there is a matte cream shade. Now this looks pretty white, but I always recommend at least put your finger in it, maybe even swatch it on your hand, because you might be surprised that there's some hidden pearl or shimmer or something in there that you weren't expecting. Now this one looks pretty matte, and it's pretty close to what I would use as a brow bone highlight shade. So let's start there. I'm gonna use my Sigma E50. These do all have names, but again, I'm just gonna save us all some time. Okay, and as I'm putting my brush in, I don't know if you can see, there is some powder kick up. So they are pretty powdery, but seem to be pretty pigmented. Let's put that under the brow and let's just see. You know what? That's pretty good. It's not as white as it kind of appears in the palette. So I think that is perfect. And the reason why I start there at the brow is I feel like it makes it easier to blend your crease colors up into it, and it kind of naturally diffuses the color as it goes up to your eyebrow. So rather than blending in the crease, then having to work really hard to blend out the crease. Anyway, that's my philosophy. So next, all right, you can see the kick up there. So knowing that, it's going to help me as I go into darker and darker colors to know that I'm gonna have to tap off my brush, and we're gonna do my eyes first before foundation. Today, based on, I mean, I'm wearing pretty neutral clothes. So I always like to swatch the shimmers, because you know, this look is probably gonna incorporate some shimmer. Let's just see if any of these really, ooh, that's pretty. And each one has a very different texture. I'm kind of loving these two. So, and then again, what I like to do is swatch on the back of my hand, kind of how those all look. There we go. If you can see those very clearly. And yeah, this one seemed to be a little bit less pigmented. Oh, look, I'll swatch this one. I'm not planning to use this. Whoa, that would be a very gold look. And of course, that one is like super, super smooth pigmented. There is also, okay, well, we got to go down here to the silvery one. Ooh, that's kind of pretty. Ooh, maybe I'm going to change my mind. And then the deep brown. Since I just did espresso, I'm not going to do the deep brown, but that's a beautiful color. Ooh, that silver actually turns kind of a little bit purple. That's very interesting. Okay, so I'm going to think on those, and in the meantime, I'm going to start in the crease, and this is a light color that I know would go with basically any of those shimmers. So let's start, yeah, let's start there. And I tried to find some clean or relatively clean brushes. This is the Morphe M504. Haven't used this brush in a while, so I'm kind of out of practice with my numbers. All right, this is a good transition shade. And do you see how easily that just fades right into that brow bone highlight shade? And I didn't even have to work to do that. Good formulation. I've actually never tried any Nabla brand eyeshadows before. They do have some beautiful, colorful, bright palettes, some 6 or 8 pan palettes, but this is one of those brands that many of their palettes have that phrase that says not for use on the eyes, which means that there are colorants or ingredients in there that haven't been approved by the FDA for use on the eye area. I do have a video coming about all of that, but that is why I have just not purchased a palette from them until now, because all of these shadows are actually eyeshadows, so that's good. All right, that built up really nicely. Okay, decision making time here. Okay, and of course, I have to have a Gracie here on my nose. Gotta have that on there, you know? Itch me to death. Okay, let's just go in with this silvery shade. I'm gonna do this first, and I'm anticipating that I might want to alter the shade slightly, but I'll show you how I make that decision. Oh, that's pretty. Okay, on the eye, I don't feel like I'm getting quite as much of that purpley blue color coming through. Oh, that's so pretty. Okay, that's fun with what I've got going on, right? And it is warmer, or sorry, cooler than what we have in the crease. So we will adjust accordingly, but this is kind of playtime anyway, so I'll just take you through my process as I figure out how this look is gonna go. So I already know I'm probably gonna incorporate, ooh, let's swatch this shade right here and see if it leans more. Oh, that's a pretty color. That could go, you know, I've got kind of this olive green. Well, let's just bring a little bit of that into the outer corner. I'm gonna go in, this brush isn't super clean, but it's the Rougher 01 Mini, and I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna start with a smaller brush, outer corner, and let's just see how this goes. I didn't wanna go straight to the black because I don't feel like I want anything too dark and dramatic today. We'll see. This is one of those get ready with me so that I really have no specific look planned out. I've pulled a bunch of products that some are new from when my best friend was here. Oh, that's really pretty. I like that color. It has enough coolness that you can see it works with that silver shade, but it also has a hint of some brown. All right, I think that's gonna work. Let's go to the other side here. And I think one of the hesitancies also I had in purchasing this nude palette was I thought, okay, do I really need another, you know, neutral eyeshadow palette? But what is great about this one is it has cool and warm shades in here. So it gives you plenty of options. And just remember with eyeshadow, you can always mix two colors together to get the perfect shade. So this color right here, I know would be way too cool, a little too blue for me, but I could mix it, you know, with a little bit of this crease shade or a little bit of this just to warm it up and make it work for me, which might be actually what I end up doing. We'll see. All right, I'm gonna go in the crease now with the number 16 from Rougher, and we're gonna work on blending the outer corner shade with a little bit more of that silver. So let's go in with the shade right next to that dark shade we used. Okay, let's see. And this brush, even though it's fluffy, it does have kind of a point. So it allows me to be pretty precise with that. That's nice. Okay, I like that. And I will blend this. And to keep in mind, eyeshadow, although it's a lot more forgiving than paint, but it's kind of like, you know, when you're in art class and you're mixing colors, so, you know, you're mixing your red and your blue to make purple. That's what can happen with your eyeshadow. So when two colors meet in the outer corner in your crease, you can create a whole new shade. So don't think that you are stuck with just the colors here. Think about how they could mix together and create something totally new. All right, let's do just a little mixology over the silver shade in the inner corner. I'm going to go in with this shade, which has, it's very smooth, has some gold, obviously. And I'm just going to, now I'm not going to go all the way to the inner corner because once we add concealer, that'll get covered up. So we'll add inner corner highlight. Now that had a lot more gold than you think it's going to. So, all right, we'll fix that in a moment, but let's just put this here. And depending on kind of how the light hits it, I think it changes how you're seeing it. Okay, now this would be okay, but I'm gonna see what happens if we wet these shadows. And some of you may not know that you can do that, but it's always the safest bet to take a dry brush in the shadow, then wet it. You can wet it with water, but I think that setting spray actually works better. So I'm going to go back to this silver shade, and I'm just going to place and pack on the shadow on both sides of that brush, and then pull out a setting spray. You can use pretty much any setting spray. I wouldn't use one that's super hydrating, but something like the Maybelline Lasting Fix setting spray works well. I just spray the brush 3 times or so, and then I'm just gonna go over the center part of that lid, and this instantly smooths everything. It just blends all the pigments, and it really gives beautiful foiled look. And this is a great tip if you have an eyeshadow that is not looking as pigmented as you wanted, especially shimmer shadows. This works well for. You can wet your brush and go over it, and you might be surprised at how much pigment you can get out of a shadow. Now I'm gonna go, let's see. Yeah, I kind of feel like that gold is just a little too yellow for what I wanted. Let's go into this one, which is more of a topper type shade. Let's do that. Oh, kind of like that. I'm just gonna do that from the inner corner, just part way over. And because the eyeshadow on the lid is still a little bit wet, it kind of stuck to that, but it's not taking over the color, okay? I feel like that's almost dry. Let's take our, this is the 16 brush through the crease one more time. All right, now for the lash line, I am going to use this black in here, but I'm gonna go in first with an eyeliner. So when I was out with my best friend, we did find lots of new fun things. So at Sephora, she and I both picked up one of the colorful shadow sticks, and this is the Sephora brand, and this is Truffle Shimmer. I think this color is going to look at that. That's so pretty. So let's do this, our lower lash line. And if you want to just go in with eyeshadow here, you can, but to really ensure that your shadow is gonna stay, starting off with a cream shadow like this really helps. Then you can set it in place with powder. Again, just like on the upper lid here, there are multiple steps you can do depending on if you have a hard time getting things to last down here. So not everybody has to set an eyeliner in place with a shadow, but some of us do. And if that is you, don't feel bad about it. It's maybe an extra step, but it's okay. It's gonna be fine. So I'm gonna take the M433 from Morphe and I'm gonna go in with that silvery shade we used on the lid. And I'm just gonna tap that over kind of the center part. And then in the outer corner, wipe off that brush, and I'm gonna tap into a little bit of this and a tiny bit of the black, just like that. And let's just use this here. And now I'm going to use this just to connect the shadow there in the outer corner. And I'm anticipating, this is what I'm going to do for liner, that combination. So let's see here. All right, and then, as you know, I always like to clean up afterwards, so I don't mind if I'm a little messy here in the outer corner. We can always blend or clean up if we need to, right? All right, let's see, what else do I have? Okay, let's try this. This is the Hard Candy Long Wear Eye Pencil. I used this yesterday, and it was very smooth, long lasting, and the shade, what shade do I have? Dark Chocolate. Again, this has some coolness to it, but it's matte. So that's what I like to use on the upper lash line. So let's just work this in here, the outer corner. And you can see it is showing up as brown, a little more brown than those colors in the outer corner, but this I'm just using as a base, really. So again, the trick to, I mean, you don't have to buy every color of eyeliner on the market. You can just buy a couple of basics and then use your shadow to kind of tweak the color to make it exactly what you need for that particular look. And you're gonna get the long wearing characteristics of that eyeliner, but then you can use the eyeshadow to give you the specific color that you want. Obviously you wanna go with something close to what you wanna end up. Like if I were using green there, it probably wouldn't be quite as effective as a neutral brown eyeliner, but all right, I kind of like that. I'll probably do a little tweaking there in the outer corner, but let's do this line here. And then we can clean up and move to the foundation today. So I think my foundation review of the new Bare Pro liquid foundation, that should be up by the time this video goes up. So I'm going to use that foundation. And as always, I like to leave videos that I talk about in the description box down below this video. So in case you haven't seen that or you want more information about certain things, check down there. All right, we're gonna top this one with some eyeshadow here. And this is my eye that's a little more open and downturned. So I have to bring this liner up just a little bit more to kind of even out my eyes. It's not perfect, but you know what? Nobody is. So we're all different and unique, right? So that's why I love makeup. It just helps us be able to just tweak those things that we want to tweak. Okay, final step for the eyes, I think. I'm going to use the BK Beauty, what is this? The 204 brush. And I'm going to go into that Glam shade. All I want to do is just make sure I don't have any gaps of skin coming through. Make sure it's all just nicely blended there and blends into the eyeliner. So it just gives it a little bit of a softer blended look here in the outer corner. And then if need be, we can go back. Yeah, I'll probably go back with my, what is this? The 01 Max brush and just blend the edge of those shades. There we go. Okay, this is kind of a fun, something different, a little more dramatic, but hey, you know, we're just having fun. So that would be how I would create my first look with a new palette. That's what I did today. Sometimes if you're not sure where to start or what colors to start with, go with what you're wearing. I purposely chose something pretty neutral so that I could go any direction I felt like I wanted to. But you know, this palette obviously has a lot more warm browns in here. So if you were wearing even a peach tone top or something more with more warmth, you could even do blues with these warm browns. So it just kind of depends on what tone you want to go for. But I always encourage you, if you're lost on colors, to mix together. Like if this were a colorful palette, look at some of the clothes in your wardrobe and see what colors they mix together, you know, like a floral print or something in your closet. If you have a top or dress like that, take cues from your clothes and go, oh, well, I like that in a dress. Why not on my eyes, right? Okay, I'm going to clean off all of this mascara from my hand. Let's see, where did my little, oh, I'll just use this because my puppy, if I pull out my Huggies wipes from the drawer behind me, she goes absolutely crazy. There's something about the sound of that crinkle of the packaging. Oh my word. Yeah, we'll get that on camera one of these days. Okay, it's time to clean up under the eyes. This is where I feel like everything kind of starts to look a little less scary. So using my almond oil, and this is a great way to reuse packaging. I saw a comment of somebody saying that, you know, they get irritated with all this wasted space and everything. Just recycle those bottles that are so fancy and those jars that are so fancy. Put something in it and then it makes you feel a little better. This is the Now Solutions almond oil. I get a lot of questions about this after every video. And Now Solutions is actually, they've been around for so long. Great quality oils and products, but not super expensive. And almond oil just absorbs so much quicker than like a coconut oil. Again, I've heard some great success reports from several of you that have started doing this before your concealer, because it just adds that nice little bit of hydration. You obviously don't want to leave a pool of oil under your eyes, but just tap it in with your finger. And I mean, you can see how quickly that absorbs. And now we're ready for color corrector and foundation. So I'm gonna start with color corrector today. I have a new concealer that I'm gonna use, and I've been trying various color correctors with it to see if I can make it work better. But I'm gonna start off today with the Natasha Denona color corrector, and I have, this is C3. So I have not used this color corrector with the new concealer that I'm going to try today. So we're going to try this out, and at the end we will see if this really made a big difference. But I don't know, concealers, I feel like concealers and mascara are two things that really can be different depending on what your preferences are and what your skin issues are or whatever. You know, mascara, some people just like a little light coat and they just want length. I want volume, length. I don't care if it's a little clumpy, you know. Concealer, everybody has different levels of darkness that they need to cover. And also your lines under your eyes are different. I don't have crow's feet, but I have lines here. And I even have some of the hash mark lines, yeah, right here. So my issues are probably different than some of yours, but I do have a fair amount of darkness. All right, the Natasha Denona color corrector, every time I use that, I'm like, yes, this is a good one. Okay, foundation. I told you I'm going to use the Bare Pro, but before I do, this is the secret. If you saw my trial video, this was my last attempt to make it work, and it worked. So I'm using the Laura Geller Spackle Skin Perfecting Primer. This is the bronze, and I'm just gonna use about 1.5 pumps. Obviously it has a bronze shade. Now I have her hydrating primer that I have not yet tried with this, but my best friend uses this primer with everything, all of her foundations. And if you've watched my channel for any length of time, you know I rarely ever use a primer. And that is because I feel like a foundation should work without having extra help from a primer and setting spray. So I usually don't use either of those unless necessary. And with this foundation, I actually found the primer and a setting spray made a huge difference. So I'm going to use that today because I have this foundation and I want to be able to use it. So in case you're looking for a good primer, this one is really nice, especially as we're going in spring and summer. It gives a little added glow and color, and it does, I don't know, the glow, I don't see any glitter particles, but it's just a nice healthy bronze glow. And I love that primer. It's lightweight and it does add a little moisture, which is what oddly I feel like I need with this. So Bare Pro Matte Foundation, and this shade is Light 22 Warm. I had to go through a couple of trials to find this shade, and it's still a little light, but we'll go with it. Also using the Stands Out sponge. I have not used this in quite a while, and it is a good one. The difference between, now it does look like memory foam, but it is different than, you know, the memory foam mattress you might have on your bed. It is a lot softer and squishier, but it has that ability to, you know, where it goes back. It has a memory of where it's supposed to go. But what's unique about this sponge versus your typical beauty sponge is after you've used it about 4 or 5 times, make sure you follow the directions, but after you've used it 4 or 5 times, you can use it dry. So you don't have to, make sure you have dampened your beauty sponge before you sit down at the table. And unlike a damp beauty sponge that gives you light to medium coverage, you know, that shears out foundations, this actually applies foundations in a full coverage way. So I am going for nice coverage, and this is how I applied it the other day and really eventually liked it. But I feel like on application, it does show a little more texture than I like to see. So, all right, let's add a little to the forehead. I'm gonna try not to mess up my hair too badly. Oh dear, we're just being real here, right? This is what we all go through. I know many of you have said that you actually, or some of you have said you fix your hair before you do your makeup. I've always been a do my makeup first, then fix my hair kind of girl. So when my hair is already done, it kind of feels a little strange for me. All right, I'm not loving how that's looking at the moment, but I know it will dry down. It'll get better. I feel like here on the nose. So if you saw my Bare Pro video, this will be a repeat, but basically Bare Pro, or Bare Minerals, is thinking, actually their plans are to discontinue the original Bare Pro foundation, and it's being replaced with this matte one. I don't know why we can't have both, but this matte one is totally different than the original in every way. The consistency of it, the ingredients, and how it looks and feels on the skin. It is more matte through the day. Oh, let's just pull out our earring. You never know what you're gonna get here in these uncut videos. I mean, you know, we're trying to keep it professional here, but this is real life, you know? Another thing that I usually don't put on until after. Okay, we're really struggling here. I guess I could tell you about these earrings because somebody asked in my last video, my pantry video, not my last one, my pantry video, where these are from. These are ones that I actually made. They are interchangeable. Back when I had a jewelry business, Designs by Sharalee. So many of you have asked where you can buy them. Right now, I just haven't found the time to bring back Designs by Sharalee, but if I do ever, you all will be the first to know. Okay, I think we're covered there. Let's go in with concealer. So this is the new concealer, the Fenty Beauty We're Even. This is hydrating long wear concealer, and this particular shade, 225N, took us, I think, 5 stores in order to find in stock. And apparently it's kind of like, this is one of those shades that is, I guess it works for multiple skin tones, because you know, my best friend and I are different skin tones. Our undertone is different. And this concealer was the color that we both thought worked best for us. Now, I applied a hefty amount there because I haven't found this to be as full of coverage as I need it to be. So I'm going to try a different brush too. This is the Rougher 36. This is a great one. It kind of packs in. It's similar in shape to the Angie Hot and Flashy, the A506 brush, but it's more dense. So I'm hoping that is going to leave behind a little more coverage. And then the other thing that I just haven't felt like it's worn well through the day. So stay tuned. I will definitely be keeping you posted. I need to do a January, February Darlings and Duds, kind of top Darlings and Duds video. I haven't done one of those, I think since early last fall. So I like to do those videos just so that I can make sure I update you on things that maybe didn't work out. Because, you know, some of these videos, we try out things and maybe it's a good first impression, but the lasting impression is not good, or vice versa. And I just want to make sure that you stay well informed. So look for updates in that type of a video. Okay, so here's the trick with concealer. You know, it looks pretty good right there. When you tip your head down, I mean, you still see darkness, but I am going to not go crazy because too thick of a layer means it's going to really crease, but I'm going to try just a tiny bit more right here and we'll see if we can create enough of an illusion that we're covered. But do you see what that shade is neutral, but it's working well with my warm foundation and my warm skin. It's really interesting. Okay, all right. Okay, I'm gonna try not to go crazy, smile and laugh too much until that concealer sets a little more. All right, let's add some cream contour. I'm looking pretty one-dimensional with really strong eyes. So new product that my best friend and I found, LA Girl. This is the Sun-Kissed Glow Envy Bouncy Bronzer. I have not felt this texture in quite a long time. I don't know if you remember, Maybelline used to have bouncy blushes. That's kind of what this is. It feels kind of wet to touch, and if you go in there crazy with your brush, it will actually move the whole texture of it around. You'll get like bumps and divots in there, so just go in easy. I actually feel like this goes on better with a finger, actually, and then blend it out with a brush, because with the brush, I feel like I just don't have as much control over how much I'm getting. But this color, and this was the only shade of bronzer that we saw, and I think it was $5, so really good price. Found it at Ulta, but it's a much cooler tone, so that's why I'm using it where I would contour and not as a bronzer, even though the name says it's a bronzer. Talk about confusing, right? Makeup industry doesn't help us figure out how products are supposed to be used, right? But I know if you have cooler skin tones, you could probably use this as a bronzer as well, but I cannot. If I use this on the tops of my cheeks, it's gonna make me look like I'm sick, not like I have a healthy glow from the sun. So I'm using this though to create some shadow where I want a little contour. And then I will blend it out with my usual BK Beauty 107. And I'm just tapping because I don't want to move the foundation underneath. Do you see? Nice, right? And under the chin, certainly ate a lot of yummy food, and food that's definitely not on anybody's diet plan when my best friend was here. So I feel like I've got a little extra work to do on contouring, you know, slim the face a little bit. But hey, you know, that's what I feel like life is about, balance, you know. We can have some fun, holidays, vacations, have a little fun, take a break from the usual healthy fare or healthier fare. Just enjoy some fun foods and eating out, and then get back on our plan, right? All right, and even here on the nose, I feel like it just blends out so easily. So if you are, even if you're a pro, I think you would enjoy this, but if you're newer at cream contour and you feel afraid that you're not going to get it blended out in time before it dries, definitely check this one out. And at the price, it is a good starter one as well. But man, I'm a fan. This is fantastic. Okay, let's see here. I feel like I got a little out of control. Where did my sponge go? Now the other thing with this new formulation of Bare Pro is it does not ever completely dry like the original one did. You know, on your makeup palette or the back of your hand, if you don't get that original formula off, it dries like paint. I don't know, I guess I'm into paint for my foundation. All right, let's go ahead and just brush away a little bit of some creasing. And I'm also going to just kind of go over my lines on my forehead, make sure I can get off excess foundation. All right, so right now, this is when I'm like, oh, I really don't love the foundation, but we're gonna set it and then it all comes together. So again, another favorite powder and another way that you can set your foundation and not have it look super dry and powdery is to use the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Micro Finishing Loose Powder with a damp beauty sponge. Now you want this to be almost dry. You don't want it super wet. And so I'm gonna just kind of dry that off. All right, now the trick is though, I just put a little bit of this in my hand and then go in with my beauty sponge. Now, sometimes when I've done this before, if my sponge is too wet, you can get globs of powder on here and then it will lock in globs on your face. So just be careful not to do that. But let's do half of our face with this so you can see the difference that powder makes. And I'm doing this into my hand because I don't want to put a damp sponge into my powder. Oh, well, let's see. See how, I mean, obviously matte always looks better on film because it doesn't show texture as much, but I do feel like even in person, this looks better. But I just, this formula of this foundation, I just think it does look a little bit more like makeup on your skin. Not quite as imperceptible as the original. All right, I'll get off that soapbox. But as always, check the description box for all of these products. I'll put that little plug here because I know sometimes you get to the end of the video and it's like you click out and then you're like, wait, what was that color she used? And I'm a little behind on replies, as some of you probably started getting replies from my last uncut like a week later. That's just how life has been going right now. So I apologize for that, but check the description box below. And I always try to put my exact shade and the link. And yes, that is a lot of extra work, but I know that it's so helpful. I watch one YouTuber who does not link anything. And I totally understand because it is a lot of work to link things, but in return, that does help support my channel when you click through those links, but it also makes it so much easier for you to find exactly the product that I used. Okay, so now our under eyes, you can see how glowy that primer is. So, or sorry, that concealer is. So let's go in. I'm going to use the Dalton Pink Brightening Powder, which by the time this video goes up, it might be restocking or about to restock. So hopefully if you were on the waiting list, you received that notification and were able to actually make your purchase. Let's see here. I am not loving, yeah, I feel like this concealer, I'm doing too many facial expressions apparently. So let's just go in real quick. Set that. Okay. All right. We're gonna leave that for a minute, kind of lock in. Okay, now for blush today, I have lots of options. I have two new ones that I ordered from Laura Geller. These are actually the Baked Blush and Bronze. I have Earthy Bronze and Berry Bronze. And I am just not sure which one I want to use today. Oh, that's pretty and neutral. I might use that one. That's Earthy Bronze. And then what is this? Berry Bronze. I also have, I think it's Rose Bronze, something like that. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Let's start with the Earthy Bronze. And I was also thinking I might use the new Smashbox Halo palette, but we'll see. Ooh. Okay, so big old fluffy brush, just tap in there. You will get a lot of product. Ooh. But I love these baked blushes and bronzers because it's not just one color, and I think it just blends in so well with your skin. And I don't know, I think the formula is really nice, forgiving. I grab for her blushes many times when I have no idea exactly what color of blush I want to use. Just use one of these and it just kind of makes the perfect color. Look at that, that's really pretty. Ooh. Okay, I'm a fan of that. That's going to be great going into summer as well. And you could see it did give me a little bit of a bronzy look as well. I like it. Okay, keep adding more. Okay, this is the Smashbox Halo palette. I'll just show this to you. I don't think I'm going to use this because I have another highlighter that I want to use, but I've been finding my way with this. When you swatch it, it doesn't swatch that well. But yesterday, actually the last 2 days, I used this whole palette and I did get quite a bit of color. So I think it's gonna be a keep for me, but I'll keep you posted. Let's use this Sephora Colorful Luminizer, and this is Sparkling Honey. This is a really, really smooth, beautiful formulation. So impressed. I feel like Sephora always does a really good job on their face products. And I mean, some of their eye products as well. Sometimes those are a little more hit and miss, but I have really enjoyed a lot. Look at that. Oh, a lot of their face products they've put out over the last several years. Let's put this right to the nose. Yeah. Okay. We can definitely get a little out of control with that one. Ooh. Okay, let's use this on our inner corner and just see what that does. Sometimes it's good to tie in your highlighter with what you've got on the inner corner. That can make your whole look kind of seem a little more like it makes sense, a little more seamless. All right, I am not liking the under eyes. Oh, creasy, creasy, creasy. Okay, we're gonna just move on. I need some brows, and I do have a new shade in the Build a Brow from Maybelline, and this is Blonde. So this is one of those pens, you know, marker pens, and I love this for the front of the brow, but it takes me too long to do my entire brow. So I restocked my CoverGirl Nano Brow Pencil in Blonde also. And yes, I have already gone through one of these, but I think this is such a great, great pencil at the drugstore. When my friend and I were shopping, we were looking because Benefit, you know, they have great brow products as well. They came out with a nano brow pencil. Now this one is 1 millimeter and the Benefit one is 0.8 millimeters. So we finally found it in Sephora, and that one is so tiny. They had to put a plastic, you know, had to encapsulate the actual crayon part in extra plastic to hold it, you know, in place so it doesn't break. That's what I'm anticipating would happen because it's so fine. But I mean, it was really short, and I mean, you're already getting very little product anyway. And so I was thinking, this is not even worth it to me, especially with this CoverGirl one. So I can't imagine needing a 0.8 versus this 1 millimeter. So if I do, I can pull in, you know, a brow pen like the one I just showed you. But I think this is so nice. You do go through it quicker than your thicker brow pencils, of course. But I still feel like it's a pretty quick brow fill-in product for me, and just works so nicely. So we are having a bright, sunshiny day today. Our first one in quite a while. We did bring out some sunshine for my best friend when she was here, thankfully. But the day she left, it started just raining, raining, raining. And then for the next like 36 hours, we had almost nonstop rain. And poor Gracie, she was just going crazy. She only had one day without a walk, but even the days that I did get her out, it was a shorter walk, and then it started raining again. So we are just loving the extra sunshine today. And I think we've got more rain coming in a few days, but we will soak up the sun, and the golfers are out today in full swing, literally. So it's kind of a little busy outside. So if you hear that, hear lots of activity, that's what's going on. But it's our flowers, or I should say our trees are just starting to bud and bloom. So as soon as our yard trees start doing that, I will probably include that maybe in a vlog or on Instagram, something fun. All right, so we've got the brows, kind of the basic fill in. And now, oh, we have to have a, oh yes, super huge truck with, whoa, okay. All the noises of the city here. All right, let's do just a couple little strokes here. And then what's cool about this pen, Build-A-Pen, is it does have clear brow gel on the other end. Now, I don't know how long this little thing of brow gel is gonna last. I mean, it is not a whole lot of product. Now, brow gel generally lasts quite a long time, but there's not a ton in here. So if I had one critique of this is it would be nice if they made the overall pen size a little longer so we could have a little more brow gel, but I haven't used one up yet, so I'm not sure how long it lasts, but we'll hope that it at least lasts the length of time that the pen does, right? So let's just, all right, use that, and then we'll flip it over. And what I do love is look how tiny that brush is. Really nice. So you can really get in there, and it does have a decent hold. It's not as much hold as the ABH Clear Gel or the Benefit one, but it's decent, you know, gives some texture. And I'm probably gonna go back. I should have done the gel before I did the pen. Always have to go back and add a little more. Let's see, how long is this video? Oh boy, I'm just chattering away. Thank you for hanging with me. Gracie's actually napping right now. I did already give her her secret treat, you know, the Nylabone. It's funny now, she comes in here and when I sit down to do my makeup, whether I'm filming or not, she will bring me that and lay it on my lap usually and look at me like, Mom, this is part of makeup time. I get my Nylabone. Okay, let's clean off the lips. And I'm gonna add a little soft ochre paint pot before we add mascara. Let's see, add this around the edge of the lips. I think I'm gonna do something, well, what am I gonna do? I don't know, something kind of neutral. I do have some new lipsticks, but they're all like pink. I was on a pink kind of trend apparently when I've been shopping with my best friend. Of course, she loves pink too. So you get two pink gals together and every shade of every lipstick we look at, we're like, oh, pink. Oh, look how pretty. All right, I'm gonna curl my lashes with my rougher eyelash curler. And then I'm debating, well, you know, it's always fun to try new things with y'all. So let's try a new mascara today and a new lip liner. That's what we'll do. I received 5 products from a new brand called Swede. I've never heard of this brand. They contacted me and I looked them up and they have some really great products. They have an eyelash serum that they sent me. I haven't tried that yet, but mascara, 2 lip liners, and an eyeliner. I wanted to save the eyeliner for another day, but I think I'm gonna use this mascara. So this is the Cloud Mascara. And this, it's made in, I think it's made in Sweden. That's the name. But supposed to be good ingredients, supposed to do great things. So let's give it a try. I haven't even looked. Let's look at the mascara wand itself. I love the packaging. Look, it's got little clouds on it and the color is beautiful. Okay, this brush reminds me exactly of the Thrive Cosmetics Liquid Lash Extensions, the original one, just like that brush. All right, since I always use an eyeshadow or an eyelash primer, I'll start off with this one from L'Oreal. We'll give it a fair shot. And I can't remember, there isn't really anything on the box that says if it's a tubing mascara or not. How to use, nope, that's it. And then the ingredients. So we're just gonna find out how this works. And what I will do is I will actually put a note on the screen of how this mascara worked. I'll also put maybe a note in the description box if I don't run out of room. Did you know that YouTube actually limits how much information you can put in that description box down below? I was telling my best friend that. She goes, what? I said, yep. So if you start running out of room, you start running out of room to link products and videos. So yeah, it's always a challenge. And when I do these videos where I'm trying new stuff and maybe adding extra products, it can be a little difficult because I probably have extra things in there that I don't normally use. Okay, I have to say, whoa, one time through the lashes, that's pretty good. All right, but let's hang on here and we'll see if this builds on itself. So some mascaras, like the Huda One Coat Wow, that is a mascara that I feel like is meant for just one coat. If you try to build on, it really doesn't build too much on itself. And that mascara, for me, smudged like crazy, crazy up above, which I never have that issue, and below. But we will find out, and you will actually know as you're watching right now if this smudged on me or not. But so far, whoa, it's giving me a lot of good length and a little bit of volume. Sometimes, you know, you can have the length without the volume, and I don't like that, but actually this is really pretty. Huh. I am not usually a first time mascara user fan. You know, the first time you use a mascara, except for IT Cosmetics. Oh my word, the superhero mascara, that was one that from the first use, I was a huge fan. So maybe this is gonna be one. I don't know. Okay, now we're getting a little sticking. So this part right here, I don't know what I did. Apparently, I must have rubbed those lashes a little extra hard when cleaning off my mascara one night or something, but I lost several lashes right there in the center of my lash line. It's kind of problematic, you know? So we won't blame the mascara for that gap of lashes there, but okay, let's just see. Again, this is getting to see real time the struggles, right? This is what we do to make our lashes look amazing sometimes. Okay. Yeah, you see the gap. Just ignore that. Let's look over here. Let's just see what we do over here with two layers. All right, this seems to be building nicely. I don't know that a third layer is necessary. I actually really like that look on this side. So let's just pay attention to this side. Now on the lower lash line, this is a risk, but I'm gonna try it without any primer so we can see all by itself if it smudges. Hopefully I'm staying in frame. I'm not even paying attention. Let's see. Gracie just picked up her head just over the desk over there. Like, what are we doing, Mom? What's going on? She's being a good girl now. She was, man, I took her on a walk this morning. We did the hill. I mean, she had lots of social time, saw all of her friends, and we get back and she conked out. So I was able to do a little bit of work. Then I showered and I came in here and then she started like whining and like, I want to go outside, Mom. So when my husband came home, I made him play ball with her for lunch. All right. Oh, just got a little bit there, but okay. So far, I like it. Let's let it dry. We'll clean that up. Okay. Lip liner. I have 2 lip liners. They let me choose the products that I wanted to try. So these 2 lip liners, look at the packaging. I was talking to a company recently and I said, packaging is really important. A lot more important than you might think. Look at that color. Okay, what color is that? That color is Lulu. Okay, and it does come with a brush. These remind me a little bit of the Lancome, what is it? The lip ones. And then this color, which I think is, oh yeah, this is gonna be the one I use. Look at that, so pretty. All right, and this is, I don't know, Cady, C-A-D-Y, I think. I'll put it across the screen if that's not right. All right, let's go ahead and apply, oh, that's gonna be distracting, that mascara. Okay, these are creamy, and on my hand, when I swatched them the other day, they did stay on pretty well. So we'll see. This is a pretty nude color, or I should say pretty, kind of has some brown to it. But I like that. I think it's nice. And okay, let's see. It's always hard to fill this time with talking. You know, it's hard to talk and put on lip liner, right? Let's see. All right, I like that, although it's a little warm. A little warmer than I think. I'll just leave it. All right. You're like, Sharalee, it's still crooked. It's still crooked. Let's just kind of fill in the lip a little bit. Okay. All right. Now we could put a gloss. Okay, that was really nice, soft, creamy. And as long as it holds my lip color in place, I think those are really nice. Okay, lip wise. For some reason I pulled out all glosses for today. So I have this new one that I got when I was shopping with my best friend, another LA Girl. This is the Lumalicious Gloss. And, oh, this is Glow Up. That's the shade. So let's just swatch a few of these right next to, oh, that could be really pretty. Oh, look at that, what it does with that. Okay, we might use that one. The other one I pulled out is this one from Morphe. It's called Drip Glass Glazed. And this is more of an opaque peachy color, which is really pretty. Also, oh, I think I want to use them all, right? And of course I have Jazzy from Dose of Colors. I've got Celeste from Buxom. Let's see, what do we want to use? Well, let's try, this is the tough decision. Let's just try this gloss right here. Let's try the LA Girl. Let's help the budget. Actually, the Morphe one isn't super expensive either, but it's like $12. And I think this one was $5 or something. As I put it on my nose, I don't think it has much of a scent. Interesting. But this really, that's so pretty. They had a kind of gold looking one and I think it was a sheer peachy one, but they all have just glitter. It's kind of clear with holographic glitter. Oh, so pretty. Wow. Paired with that brown. It's so nice. All right, let me clean up under the eyes so I can let you all go. I know you're probably like, okay, Sharalee, let's go. Let's move this on. Let's see how this mascara removes. Okay, it's not bad. Okay. Oh, probably goofed up my concealer a little bit there. Okay. Did I get any up here? Yeah, a little bit, you know, the usual spot. Okay, I am going to just press up. Oh, it's still kind of wet. That's taking a little while to completely dry, but let me remove my mirror now. And let's see, kind of fluff my hair. Make sure my earrings are both in. Oh my goodness. Okay, here is the finished look. And overall, I really love it. And I think using this eyeshadow palette for the first time, I feel like it's really nice. Like the formula is super easy to work with, little powdery on those mattes, but they blended well and I really love the finished look. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for darlings and duds updates on things. This concealer, I would not run out and buy it just yet. I don't know that this is going to be a new favorite for me. But let's see, was there anything else that's a fail? No, I mean, this one, as I said, oh, I know what else I'm missing, setting spray. Otherwise, this foundation will not stay looking like this. So I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless. Okay, ready? I'm going to, oh, okay, maybe it's time to, hold on, I have a new one. Let's see. Okay, that seems like a lot, but oh my goodness. Okay, it's a very fine mist on the new bottle. Okay, now I think we're done. Okay, now here's the finished look. And as I was doing that setting spray, that plus the primer with this foundation is the way that I think that really works well. Otherwise, it's not a win for me. So everything else though, I feel like worked well, and that mascara, man, I'm impressed. First time use. So check the description box down below. Thank you so much for hanging with me. As you see these uncut videos come up, I might be doing an uncut soon with hair, because I'm getting people watching my hair tutorials and say, oh, that is way too much work for short hair. And I'm thinking, really? Do I make it look like too much work? So look for some uncut hair tutorials as well. I've done them in the past, but it's been a while. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.